Jamie has a true passion for business analysis, enjoys presenting to audiences both in person and online around the world. She's an author with courses on LinkedIn Learning, loves collaborating with technology, and when not facilitating engaging sessions like this, she's on a surfboard in Hawaii, where in fact you live, Jamie. So I'm just going to hand straight over to you, Jamie, and I'm sure we're all very interested into the tips and tricks you have for hybrid facilitation. So Jamie, over to you.
Awesome. All right. And so easiest thing, as Adrian said, I love connecting with the BA community. So if we're not already connected on LinkedIn, please connect with me. I would so appreciate that. What we're going to do in this session, we are going to be interactive. So the idea here was to give you an opportunity, rather than me and Adrian just have a discussion and share some tips and tricks. It's different when you can feel it, you can see it. We already had a wonderful opportunity where someone wasn't muted and we're trying to set up and you're trying to prep for a session. That working in hybrid environments is not only a challenge, it's a reality. It needs to be in your tool set. And we want to get comfortable. And one of the best ways to get comfortable is to do it. So again, I put the LinkedIn connection in chat. Please use the chat throughout the session. Adrian's going to help keep me on focus on here. Cameras on, microphones ready. You can keep them muted until you need to talk so that we can practice, can see it, have some opportunities. And we're going to explore some of the things with hybrid environments over the next, what we have, 54 minutes here. Please ask your questions, comments, suggestions, thoughts, ideas. This is a safe space. What happens in the Zoom room is only recorded in the Zoom room and shared with everybody. So please, again, change the names of any guilty parties when describing a scenario. But, we really want to welcome you to unmute yourself, ask questions, engage. We're going to have some activities for those of you live, those of you watching here. Don't be afraid to pause, watch the recording, and do it yourself. Also, here's the best part. I'm going to share a lot of information today. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of stuff. There's even more here. Adrian saw my slides. He's like, oh my goodness, really? This is a 1-hour presentation. But we're going to talk about hybrid facilitation, your environment, things you can do. And I want you to leave here energized. And one of the best ways to do that is I'm going to give you a cheat sheet at the end. So whether you're watching it live or watching recording, if you stay till the end, you get the cheat sheet. So I like easy. I don't know about you. I like simple. So there will be a cheat sheet at the very end where you can get all the steps, everything we're covering in here. Can I get everyone to give me a thumbs up? Good to go. There should be a reaction. Thumbs up for the cameras. Thank you. All right. So see, we're already getting some engagement, because when we talk about hybrid, what we're doing here, let's just define it real quick, because I said hybrid. We got into the digital spaces on here. And so you're going to have some people meeting online and in person. So that's all I'm talking about with hybrid. Is I just want us to focus on a combination of in-person and online participants. The challenge comes in how they mix, how many online, how many in-person. Are the in-person people all together, or is there a couple people here, a couple people there on it? And so when we talk about running a hybrid successful meeting, with hybrid, I'm often talking about that people are all going to be live. All right. So there's a comment. I do have some tips here at the end for asynchronous collaboration, because that's totally possible. But what we're doing is everyone's live here, and everyone's expected to participate equally. Okay. So think about that we have people participating who are live with cameras on, live without cameras on, live without microphones. And I want all of you to feel equally part of this endeavor. So that's like the challenge there. So just looking at our current audience. Now, like any good BA, any good analyst, any good facilitator, you need an expected outcome. I'll talk about this because you define the purpose of the session. And then everyone has a purpose. Everyone attending has a purpose here. What I mean by that is that we have only the people in the room who can help us solve the challenge. And we have only the people in the room who can help us solve the challenge. So we only wanted really active, engaged participants here today, because that's what's helping us with our purpose. Don't invite the CC line. I'll share more about how to do exactly that. And then here's the trick for all of you is I know I'm preaching to the choir because someone is responsible to make this happen. Here's the thing. The trick is it's normally you. It's all your responsibility to make it happen. It's all the team's good job that they got things done. Okay. I know no one ever talked about it on it. And so that's what we're talking about here with hybrid. And to go for it, I want to just give you a few more, again, tips and top tricks here at the beginning, is that hybrid is good for certain things. That think about it's very good to respect teams' working environments. You work from where you're comfortable. That's what you do when you give a hybrid environment. You give options on how to participate. Even me and Adrian, we've reinforced already about come on with the cameras if you're comfortable, turn it off if you need to. We're respecting you and where you're at, as well as welcoming team dynamics. Do the team like to get together, work together? Do they like being next to each other talking? Or do they like, being online, encouraging chat? I've got the chat open, I'll keep it open. Keep questions in there whenever they pop up. By the way, it's never interrupting on Zoom. It takes a minute to always find the mute button, unmute yourself. So you're never interrupting, ask questions the whole time. All right. But hybrid's great. But remember, hybrid, it's like all the BA other stuff, right? It depends. Hybrid is not the answer to everything. And so remember, there is some setup required. Even what me and Adrian followed and all the much we can plan, there's some little ad hoc, but we've got backups. We've got alternatives. When you have multiple locations, this can be a lot more challenging. The more places you put in there. So think of like conference room in North America, a conference room in Europe, a conference room in Asia. So it's not just getting everyone on the same meeting, but you have to make sure each of those locations has to be working. That can be really, really hard. I don't advise doing this if your company is new to certain technology. I love it. I have a client who got Microsoft Teams. They figured out how to use it 4 years after COVID. They finally use Microsoft Teams now that they're sitting next to each other in the office. So an online collaboration tool was not the best way to push out hybrid when they didn't know how to use it. And if you have negative team dynamics, careful because it can be extrapolated out further in hybrid. So again, see, this is a checklist. All this is in your cheat sheet. Again, why not just prep you with the boring? We're going to get into more fun stuff. Because here's the fun part. Like all good analysts, do you really need a hybrid situation? Do you really need everyone hybrid in person? I see Indy already. She's smiling on that. Yes. But just remember, if you don't need it, don't do it. Okay. There is always the piece here. Like don't forget on there that we like to keep it simple. If you can just do a quick video call, an email sometimes might get the answer. Don't overcomplicate it. We're really good on there. But okay, now I've been talking a lot on here. So let's just stop sharing for a second. Adrian, would you help me though? I'm gonna remove my spotlight here. Let's see if we could just get a quick hello from everybody. Let's go ahead, unmute everybody. Let's get a quick hello from everybody real quick because I've been talking a lot. Let's get everyone saying hi. Do you mind? Go ahead and unmute. Say hi where you're from.
Hi.
Hi.
Let me know where you're from.
Toronto, Canada. And there's a
Good,
thunderstorm, so you might hear thunder. Oh,
Wow.
there. That was a thunderclap.
Thunderstorm. Shout it
Yep.
out. Say hi.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
Debbie from Kansas City, Missouri in the US.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi, I'm Sheila. I'm from, sorry, go on, Nefra.
You go.
Oh, sorry. I'm Sheila. I'm from London.
Okay. Thank you. Nefra, go ahead and say hi real quick.
Hi, I'm Nefra. I'm from London too.
You all are so polite. I love it. Dagmar, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Dagmar. I'm was made in Germany, but I'm calling in from Barcelona right now.
Wow. Lovely city.
Wow.
Love Barcelona.
See, engagement on here now. See, now I took out the background noise. Obviously, I was playing that up a little bit. I liked it when some of you went over each other a little bit. You were making it nice. Adrian went with the unmute. What I liked you to see was that piece of feeling some of this hybrid part. Okay. I have background and stuff going on over here, totally happening. We have people trying to connect. That distance, totally lag time still happens with internet. By the time you hit unmute, someone else is talking, someone else talks some more. Just already see the feelings that we're getting. Like this is the part where you want to actually welcome it on here, encourage it. And, like you say, I'd rather have 3 people talking over themselves, each other, and like trying to get in because you're participating. Participation is key. And we're going to mention that engagement. But I like this piece too, is just, again, getting some of those feelings of things you might interact with. I put a lot of background noise. Now, what we're going to do here is I'm going to jump in because what I wanted you to see is think about this whole time for the rest of the presentation. And I want to try to give these little feelings. That facilitation, when you see that word, it's all about make things easy, right? So to me, like that's where we said unmute, just say hi. Can I put, the background noise down? Can I pay attention? Call out someone's by names, when I see them participating. Because the trick is not only make things easy, you want to make things easy for them. All right. So those that are participating, you want to make it as easy as possible. Even at the beginning, my LinkedIn code, did you notice? Is that I've had a LinkedIn, a QR code. I still have the QR code here if we're not connected. I put the link in the chat if you have it on there. You could go to LinkedIn. I try to, again, make it as easy as possible so you could connect. We've got the chat. I've got an assistant. Adrian's helping me here, to make sure that Andrea feels welcomed. Even if, again, they don't have their video on or talking audible, we're still making everyone participate equally wherever they're participating from and how they're from. So that feeling. Thanks. See, look at that. You call out a name. Notice this. We're doing this a lot here. Names are a great way to build engagement because that is going to be the secret sauce. I love it. You all are making me engage so that I'm giving you the secret sauce to great hybrid meet. But I like fun. So I like fun and stuff. Absolutely, Michael, come back in for us. It happens. See, Michael, come right back in and then we'll grab the recording. But now I like fun. So we're having fun. And we got Cincinnati, Ohio. Even though we're working, we're going to have some fun. Right, Adrian? This is a good time. So I need everyone to get some scratch paper, anything to scribble on, just something scribbling on the side, anywhere you can, something to scribble on. It just doesn't matter what it is. And so I do an exercise a lot of times because I love requirements work. Requirements. I love it. Elicitation, collaboration, facilitation, all around requirements, all those big words. And so I want you real quickly in 60 seconds on your little piece of paper, I want you to draw me a pig, please. And I did have to, I'm being vague on purpose for the sake of the exercise. Yes, my analyst. But we did have to clarify. We had one small slight incident. We need the farm animal pig, no people, please. Okay. So we're referring to the livestock. So just take 30 seconds more. Let's see. All right. Just so draw your best pig of the farm animal. Give me a little pig in a few seconds.
Mine is really, really bad, Jamie.
But no, hey, analyst, I didn't say there was no analysis. So you got to watch the elicitation. We were so bad about that, BAs, right? We started analyzing.
Seen it. But you've not seen it yet, Jamie. You've not seen it.
Show them. Okay, if you have a virtual background, the trick on this is always keep your chin, your face above whatever you're sharing. Let's see your sketches. Come on, turn on your cameras. I need to see everyone's sketches. Yeah, let's see the pigs. Let's see the pigs. All right. Who else? Thanks, Debbie. She got her pigs. Yep. Debbie, you don't have a background. You can hold it right up to the camera. It'll be good. All the way up there. There you go. See? Look, everyone's participating now. Look at all the pigs. Okay, Nefra.
Oh, wow.
That's good. Oh,
I'm not sure you really.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Yes.
Andrew, I'm not sure you drew that.
All right. Well, awesome. Okay, so here's the funny part. I love the pigs. Did you see, though, what I did is I gave everyone the same requirement. Told everyone draw a pig. And we got way different pigs. Way cool pigs, right? And so this is what we always say. This justifies your work in elicitation. You need everyone on the same page on there with pigs. So here's why facilitation is such a powerhouse that you need to have on here. And so I want you to pull out one more piece of paper for me. Scratch paper, you can be the backside, etc. Just pull out a piece of paper for me, okay? One more scratch paper, same thing. Now I'm going to put the piece of paper sideways. So landscape, please. Make it more landscape side, okay? Now, on your piece of paper, I want you halfway down the left margin. So halfway down, I want you to write an O, the letter O, halfway down all the way on your left margin. On the far right margin, all the way on the right-hand side, halfway down again, so in line with the O, I want a lowercase e, English E, so it's like a curled E. So O on here, E on here. Top margin, 1/3 from the left, 2/3 from the right. Right here along the top margin, I want a capital M. Nice M for me, please. Give me a nice capital M. On the bottom of the paper, the bottom margin, like 1/3 in from the left, I want a capital W for me. So 1/3 in. And then stay on that bottom margin, 2/3 from the left, 1/3 from the right. I want one more capital W, please. Can you give me 2 capital W's? All right. Then halfway down between the M and the O, but right under the M, can you give me a nice like filled in little dot for me, please? Let's see. I gotta cheat. All right. So we got a dot. We got an O, an E, 2 W's, and an M is what our paper should look like. Then take your pen and put it on the bottom of the M and curve a line down to the top of the O. Then from the O, curve a line to the top of your first W. All right. Now between the 2 W's, connect the 2 W's with the line. Keep the line going. Now with your last line, I want you to start on the top of your W. I want you to just curve right past the E, just barely touching it, and all the way back to the M for me. Now, does everyone nice have a pig that looks something like this? Do we all have noses? Do we all have an eyeball? Andrew, right under your chin. There you go. So we see some of your face. Do we have 4 legs? Everyone got a tail. Look. It might be the funniest you've ever seen.
Mine looks like a Pokemon, like a Pikachu. Yeah. But I was half paying attention because I was doing stuff in the chat, Jamie. So forgive me.
Yeah, right. No excuses for you.
Yeah, Michaela, just underneath your chin. Underneath your chin. You don't have to turn off your background. Then we can see it. Yep. See, as long as it sees your face, it can kind of recognize it with the. Yep, you're good, Andrea. Perfect. See, look at that. So I know it's a fun little exercise. We're drawing pigs while we're talking about hybrid facilitation. But see how much easier it was to not only get you to do the activity, but to get everyone to produce the same result, right? That's the power of facilitation. So it's one of those things where I want to just show you rather than you just hear it. Oh, make it easy for them. You need to make it easy for everyone to get on the same page and be towards their goal. That's the part on why we're looking at this facilitation work. All right. And so when we talk about facilitating here, that here's a trick. And the part where we probably miss, and again, we're analysts, so we've gone through all this good work here for you. When you're facilitating, you always, again, have a goal. Always have their goals, okay? What is the goal of the meeting, right? We don't meet just to talk, you know? We have enough things to do. We and Adrian were talking about how busy our plates are, and we need time to get stuff done. But here's the thing, is you start with them. They come first, business need. Every meeting you facilitate, then I want your desired outcome. What is your facilitation goal? This is how do you want to accomplish the results? So do I want everyone participating? Do I want them engaged? Do I just want you to vote? Do I want you to read? Like, what do you want people to do? Do you want them to talk to each other, with each other? Am I leading everything, or can someone else lead a section? There's actually 2 parts of goals on this. And so this is the part we want to think about, is because we skipped that second one. We're like, let's hurry up and make a decision. Okay, how do you want us to make that decision? If you're going to facilitate, how are you going to make us accomplish those goals? So again, I like easy. All it is a little planning up front. You got business goals, facilitation process, facilitation goals. What we do here is you start off with, what does the business need? So whatever that's needed, how we're going to achieve it. And of course, what do you want to do? Facilitating. Those are the 3 questions on there that we ask. All right. And so then what we do is, here's an example. I use this worksheet every time I do a meeting. I'm running a meeting, say, for ideas for solution design. We got to come up with how we're going to solve this problem, right? We need some ideas. Well, how am I going to get, what are my facilitation goals? I want everyone participating. I want more than 5 ideas per person. I want some brainstorming going on a lot here. I want no bias. I want like this cross-functional team. I want everyone in here to vote. And so then I think the last part is my facilitation process. How will I get everyone participating? Well, we'll do brainstorming. We're going to use timers so people do lots of ideas fast, but don't overanalyze. We're going to vote on top ideas, but everyone's going to get the same sticky note color or same voting color. I don't want anyone to know, like, Sheila has, pink and Nefra has blue. I don't want to know who's voting for which. So that's all I'm doing for prepping. I'm thinking what I want to accomplish, how I want to get there, and then what needs to enable that to happen. And so that's where defining this. And again, the checklist I have will help you with define their desired outcome, what the business goals and needs are. That's important here. Define what they want. Then what do you need to do to make that happen? And then you do the process. So how do we get from left to right? You fill in that gap. Just, again, we're so good. We have good meeting goals. Let's make sure that we're not just focused on the business goals and we forget all about how to make it happen. That's the facilitation part here. That's what I'm bringing here. I want you to think about. And again, checklist is great at the end, so we can keep going and do a few more things to get things going. All right. So we want to start with, what are you facilitating, right? They're desired, your desired. The secret sauce on all this is the engagement. How will the participants engage to achieve the results? All we have to do is plan for it. Plan for engagement. Do I have any hands up of those attending that like agendas? Like agendas. Does anyone like doing an agenda for a meeting? I'm a little more advanced in mind, and that I'm like,
absolutely, agendas are great. Most of the places I work, I struggle to actually get them to have an agenda at the top of the meeting. I feel embarrassed because I'm the one, I feel like I'm being really itsy bitsy, trying to have a bit of a setup at the beginning about what we're actually doing.
Yeah,
yep.
I can empathize with that. I think it's so often I'm sort of saying, should we set an agenda here? How about I propose an agenda? If no one else is going to propose an agenda, I'll propose one, and then you tell me if it's wrong, but then at least we've got something.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And agendas, like you say, keep you on track. And I'm a little more agilist in mindset when it comes to that. So let's talk about, though, how about if we're going to facilitate a session, and I appreciate David chiming in, that what we want to do, though, is we want to create an engaging agenda. When you are really trying to facilitate this discussion. So we always start with what's the desired outcome. So if you just at least have what is produced at the end of the session, I tell you, I use that in my BA work, no matter hybrid or whatnot. It is always a discussion of, will this help us get to our product? We were here meeting today to get to a decision. Real quick, Adrian, does this help us with the decision, or should I park a lot it for right now and we'll come back to it? I'll just ask that all the time. So if you put it out there, no matter what, get a desired outcome, output. What are you producing? Like at the end of this, I want you leaving here not only feeling something, I want you to have a checklist in hand. Like, see, I've got some checkbox. As long as you're feeling something, I'm okay going off script. You know, we're over here. Adrian's going to work with me a little bit. He's an agenda guy, you know, so, but we'll work it together as long as we get that outcome. Now, then what you want to do is, where's the team at today? Be realistic. Where are they at today? Have they done this before? You know, have they done it in a meeting? Have they met each other? Do we need any of that stuff? Happens. It's always a good piece to just give you a quick, you know, check-in where we're at. Now, normally what we do is then we think, okay, we've got the end item. We know where we're starting with. We'd write the steps to get us from where we're starting to end. Makes sense. Not on an engaging agenda. We're not going to say start, end, fill in the steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What I want you to do is you still have that end goal and you think about where they're at. Then you can write down some ideas, but I'd like you to try a 2020 agenda for your next session you facilitate. And what this is write out the agenda. So write those key points. You know, David, like you mentioned, let's just have a few things we're going to try to go. Here's where we're at. Here's where we want to get. Write down the ways you might get there. You know, what we're going to do. And then reduce it by 20%. Take out a fifth of whatever you wrote in the steps. Like, okay, first we'll talk about this. Second, we'll talk about this. Third, we'll do this. Can you take something out? Because the reason we do that, it allows for more time for meeting and conversation. Even here, like for today's session, can we take stuff out so we get more of you engaging with each other, more of you feeling the activities? That is actually more beneficial than worry about, well, Jamie has 125 slides she has to get through in, 42 minutes. No, that's not the goal. The goal of today, right? We have a desired outcome. You always start with the desired outcome. The trick here is identify the questions that need to be answered. Try this as an agenda way. So you're building in flexibility. We took out a chunk of our agenda, right? Instead of all the steps. Get some general steps, still have a general agenda, but take out the chunk of time and then simply write now what questions have to be answered. When I said have the right people and only the right people in the meeting, this is where we get to be really fun. Enabling an engaging agenda. We have the output. You ask who is needed to achieve your output. That's who you invite and only who you invite. All right. So again, I like easy. So Adrian, I went with another table. I like tables. I like checklists. Got one more piece, a little planning work. Those saves you hours. You ask what needs to be delivered. What questions need to be asked are the roadblocks. How come we're not there today? And what you do then is then you simply ask who can answer those questions. This is how you build your stakeholder list and you create the room for engagement. So my example I've got here, and again, we'll have it in the notes. A prioritized idea for solution design. That's still my goal over here. And then all I've done is think about what are all the roadblocks, what are all the questions people are going to ask that would stop us from getting there. Like, oh, though this other project is going on, and oh, I'm not sure, I don't know what's going on, or this or that, or this or that. I write down all those as questions. We need to answer these. We need to address these to get some really good ideas. So then who would be the ones invited to answer those questions? And I even called out, I don't know from marketing. We need to know our external customer, priorities. We got to get someone from marketing. So I called out, but that's my stakeholder list because again, what I want to do is build that engaging environment where we are addressing the actual business need. That's a hybrid. That's all you have to do on that one. Kind of. See, secret sauce. I know everyone's like, Jamie, it's not that easy. I know you say it's easy, but it's not that easy. Because what you're doing with this enabling this engaging agenda, you have to get them to engage their work. You want them to achieve their outcome, right? And we are going from in this wonderful world of in-person, sticky notes, everything, and you got to make sure that translates to everybody who's going digital on there. Let's see, we are still okay here at time. And while I've got some more fun stuff here to go, Adrian, could we go ahead and let's do the breakout rooms real quick? because I do need to seek a little engagement. I've been sharing some thoughts and I've got way more to go here now to run the actual session, but just planning. Can we toss
Okay,
everyone in a breakout room
what-
real quick?
So whenever you want that, I can open them. They are set up. So if you just set the exercise, I will then set the breakout rooms.
Perfect. All right, real quick, we're going to jump in breakout rooms, and I want you to share with each other what makes easy, or what has a good hybrid meeting you've been on felt like. What made it feel easy? What made it when you got there now? Because we're planning, we're prepping, we've just been doing all the prep work. We're going to dive into the meeting. Adrian's going to throw you in the breakout rooms now and share what makes them easy. What makes it feel good and accomplished?
What makes it easy, what makes it good and accomplished. So the breakout rooms will be opening shortly, and we'll bring you back automatically at the end of the exercise. So enjoy having a chat, and we'll bring you back in just a few minutes' time.
Just a few minutes. Thank you, Nefra. Thank you everyone for coming back from our break where we're talking about what things make it easy or they felt. Does anyone want to share either in chat or unmute your microphone real quick? Something that you heard was great. I love it. You can sound like you're really participating, but you're telling your friend's idea. Here's, I heard this idea. Anyone want to share a good idea or thought they heard?
Well, one of our people's, reinforced what you were saying, Jamie, that just people knowing why they're there and having a decent agenda is a superb start off, and I think we've all agreed, and you've expressed it very well. One point I raised is when I've been in hybrid meetings recently at home, like I am now, we can all see who each other are individually, which is great. But when you've got people in a live room as well, you often can't see quite who they are. And one of them starts talking and you can't quite work out who they're actually talking. So getting that right somehow, and I'm not exactly sure how you solve that, but that's something that needs to be sorted out, I think.
Sure. David, hold that thought. That was a perfect segue for what I'm going to dive into next. Anyone else want to share real quick, though? Want to open it up here before we get going?
So Jamie, it's Indy. One of the things I would like to kind of bring to the focus is when you're working with a company that has offices around the world and people are joining your meeting and it's their midnight or their 2 o'clock in the morning and you're 10 in the morning or whatever. So it's how do you, and what that company didn't do was they didn't use cameras. They did use Zoom and they used recordings, but they didn't engage with the camera, which I found kind of weird because I'm used to having people in rooms and being able to see everybody. So that's part of the challenge, I think, that we have.
Absolutely. Or like now, like you say, good audio without background noise. So hopefully it's not too loud out there for you, but I'm going to go ahead and keep going, though. I want to share a few more things. Please put in chat if you had or heard another comment about what makes it easy, because that's built in our toolbox together. I love that. What I want to do, though, is part of our work to build these environments, exactly that, David. There's, how do you get people to, the audio works and to see the room? Because we're going from a group of people in person with a group of people online. And that it definitely requires planning, both of like the date and time and that location. Like, here's one thought. We do often in person, do you have security checks? Like you have to scan a badge or unlock a conference room or, some sort of setup or access control. Whereas with Zoom, we're like, just here's the password. Here's the link and here's the password. Remembering you want everyone to be treated equally. What are the steps to get people into the room? Like even that might be part of your planning work. So I like easy. I'm going simple here. So I've got some planning the engagement. Your stakeholders, remember, we go back to what we were doing the planning work, take that list of stakeholders and ask, do you know their environment, where they work from, like where they normally do? To your point though, like Indy, ask what they use today. Oops, sorry. What do they use today? Do they have any limitations? I've had people, they got Zoom. They had laptops with no cameras. They didn't have video capability. They didn't even have it. Some people didn't have a headset, so they weren't allowed to do audio because they were in an open space, but they didn't have headsets. So, you're going to find out of what is in there, and then you just fill it out. Like use this for planning your engagement first. This will help you. Like marketing, I don't know what they use. you know. But I do know the financial analyst needs a dial-in number. They can't do the audio through the screen, but you can participate via phone on there. Who's not comfortable on camera? You know, like you say, the camera limitations, just doing that can help your planning piece on there. Now, I do want to talk though, because we're always talking about the session. All right. So this is a great time to turn on your cameras, a good piece, because there's what we call the art of direct camera. So one of the things to watch for. So yeah, if you can't turn your cameras on, because we can all practice here. How many of you have a second monitor? And I'm totally watching you on the second monitor. And I'm loving you. And you're just fabulous. And I'm taking good notes. And I'm paying attention to you. It is not the same feeling when you look at the camera. And now even this, how many of you are looking at people? So I'm totally see you, Debbie. I'm there with you. Like I see you. I love the purple. That's my favorite color, obviously, you know. But if I talk to Debbie like this and say, Debbie, I totally see your beautiful purple shirt. I love this. Can you see the difference in my eyes make? Just that little bit. Debbie, do you feel a little more talked to right now when I'm looking here versus looking down at you? I'm totally looking at you. You see me, right? Is there a slight difference for you, Debbie?
Yeah, it makes me feel like I'm in charge because, you know, you're lower than me.
Try that right now. Do you see where your camera is on your computer? And just notice, are you looking at all of us? Are you looking at that little green dot that gives you absolutely no love whatsoever for all of the 3-hour meeting?
Right.
That little bit can be the part you need to get people engaged. Because like you said, David, to your point, in the room, I'm going to look right at you and you know I'm looking at you. Online, I'm going to use the name so you get the audio part that follows the physical actions. But I will look at Nefra and say, Nefra, I can tell you're totally engaged. But when I talk to her, what I'm doing there is I'm modeling the behavior you expect. So if you want people to look at everyone else and feel engaged, you've got to do that. So even that piece here is that art of direct contact. You don't look at the people on the screen. You look at the camera that shows you're looking at the people on the screen. So if you're in the conference room and there's a bunch of people calling in, look at the camera they are looking at. That part brings in that connection because you want to think about your focus. And even when you walk in the room, who are you focusing on? If you're in person, are you dealing with the clutter all going on in the conference room because the audio is not working? We got to set up the mic. We're over here. And guess what? Your online participants are getting bored. They're like, come on, someone figure out the mic. We can't hear you. We still can't hear you. Or are you so worried about all the online people being happy and excited and all right, got the whiteboard, everyone can access everything. Your in-person people are falling asleep, okay? Right? Because they're like, Jamie just cares about the online people. She's not doing anything. So just even know your focus, you know? You want to be focusing on everyone. That's why it's challenging on there, all right? So I've got a whole checklist on the technology. But one of the biggest pieces on the technology is where you look, like I said, look at each person. Saying the name with it helps a whole lot. Always articulate the name. Like, and I'm one of those ones at the conferences, by the way. When you ever been at a big meeting room or conference room and someone asks a question and the speaker heard it and they go, oh yeah, okay, so the answer is this. And you're like, what was the question? And I have people are like, oh, I'm loud. I don't need a microphone. I'm like, always repeat. Always repeat everything. Say a person's name and repeat. It feels like more in a hybrid environment, but you not only look at them, say their names, okay? Say their names and repeat the questions. So what I do on the question part is I'll say, Sheila, thank you so much for asking the question about, and I'll repeat Sheila's question. Now they know who asked it. She feels appreciated. It chimes in. And I'll often ask to say, Sheila, were you directing that question at someone else or were you expecting an answer from someone else? Don't take it as the facilitator to answer the content questions. Facilitate the discussion. Let others answer it. And she, you know, like Sheila, I'll say, would you like, you know, Michael to answer that question? or who would you like to answer that question? Great question, Sheila. And so again, I'm building engagement, but I'm treating everybody equally, and then that also is a great way. She might want to say, well, I didn't know which person in the back one was on there, or who asked that question. I didn't quite hear it on there. And then what I do all the time is when you're in the hybrid, I'll ask, we often tend to ask anybody in the room, got any questions? And we look at them first. I try to make a habit. Well, then next time there's a break, I'm going to go online and say, anybody online have a question? And then I'll ask my in-person. So again, I'm trying to treat everybody equal, but just that flip up. Who do you ask first on there? And like you've seen already, what we've been doing is called a spotlight technique. That helps when we stop sharing and you can spotlight Jamie, like, hey, I'm over here. I love doing that when people ask questions. Again, I have it in the how-tos, little spotlight on Teams, spotlight on Zoom. It's a great feature that's out there. You can find those 3 little dots and spotlight someone. It's really great for the person who's not paying attention. If you stop here and I think, Indy, you've been more than paying attention. So please, this is not meant to anyways. But I will always spotlight someone and say, hey, Indy, did you have any comment or question about this? And, Indy's like, see, and she can just smile. You're doing fine, Indy. But it's a great way. See, now I brought her into the conversation. I made her feel part of it to where, like if I'm going to call out and ask David a question, I'll just do that spotlight because I want him to know he's just as valued as the in-person. And I see that a lot. Or we'll pause and say, hold on, we asked the question of the group, but I will call out and say, Jamie, did you have a question, in the room? Again, the names, the individuals, it's not a group here and them over there. I don't want any of that feeling on it. Now, one of the things to do, your materials and work products. This is one thing we do. Adrienne, we're going to share here in just a second, that even if you sent materials ahead of time, have it ready. Digital links for online and chat, QR codes for in-person, those are great. Physical papers and supplies. Remember, that's a big thing about work products. If you're going to do physical, you've got to consider the online. What I normally do is I make everybody share online. Even if you're in person, you have got to share online. And basically, and you have in-person participants, they don't present to me, they present to the online participants. Now, I have a hole again in the cheat sheet, the checklist for your environment collaboration. Adrienne, if you'll share the whiteboard, as part of setup, put your session norms right in your collaboration space. Those things you want to emphasize throughout your session, write them down somewhere so people see it. Even if you said it at the beginning, did you know you're allowed to eat and drink? Because the in-person people know they can eat and drink. Do the online participants know they're allowed to eat and drink? Or if I say no eating and drinking in this conference room, because it's one of those nice executive ones, and we see everyone online having some, fish and chips or something going on, afternoon break, snack break, that could be, that's not fair, right? We're treating people differently. So just in my collaboration space, this is the place everybody's going to work, not just my online participants on there. All right, Adrienne, I think we're good. I'm going to take the share over. And so what we've just done there, though, it can really help is to set the expectations for the session, okay? You set the expectations for the session, not the individuals. Set the expectation. How are they going to engage and participate? All right, that's where we work on that. You always have them participate back to others. I'm communicating to the group. The group is in person and online. Now, what I want to do is I've got way more tips and tricks, Adrienne, than we have time in a wonderful session. And I love that you all participated and got some of those feelings. Because even here, you see me, and Adrienne's been a wonderful assistant. I've got tips for your assistant. But those participating in chat have been fully present. You've never seen them on camera. We had some people come on audio without the camera. They've still been there, and look how participating they've been. Here's another metric I use. Adrienne, I always watch who's still with me at the end. How many people are still with us? That we've had pretty much everyone who joined live is still with us. That is a good sign of a great facilitated session. That checklist is actually in there because I want you to always think about how easy is easy. What can you do to make it easy for them? You know, that it's a piece of cake, right? Is what they always say in the States. So this is where I've got you that cheat sheet of everything you want and more. I have a QR code to download. AC Jamie Champagne. I'm going to put the link here in the chat as well. You just got to enter that code hybrid. Oh, thank you, Adrian. Already ahead of me too. And you got to make sure just enter hybrid when you go to that link. Look, I'm going to double check, make it easy for you. Checking the link works. I'm going to put the code hybrid and let's go. All right. Don't have to enter your email if you don't want more good stuff from me. That's it. You can skip it if you want. A few smiley faces, but that is the link to get more, the whole checklist. I apologize. I like easy. There might be 7 pages of checklist. And so everything in the notes and more is in there. I love doing a whole workshop on this. I'm going to stop share though, because Adrian, I want to give a chance and really highlight if anyone has a question or another topic to throw out, because this was just a snippet of, you know, like you say, all the things we can talk hybrid. I love doing facilitated trainings on this where we spend some more time. I got to do it at BBC and I've heard it's been requested back. Maybe I'll put it in and see if BBC this year, we can do it live again.
Fantastic. And yeah, and it's worth mentioning actually that Jamie did this session at the Building Business Capability Conference last year, and I wasn't able to attend, but I gather to simulate a hybrid environment, you kicked some people out of the room. You had some people in the conference room and you made some people leave and connect from their mobile, like their cell phones, their mobile phones, which I think is a great simulation. So we have about 3 or 4 minutes left. I've got just a few closing announcements. But before that, we have time for any questions, comments, reflections. So anything anyone would like to say, add, or ask before we move on. I mean, I've got a question, Jamie, because I've always got questions, but we'll see if anyone chips in before I chip in.
Just for the discussion, guys, and thank you, Jamie. Nice, good fun, very good fun. Always a good way to get a message over. Nice.
Excellent. Thank you.
One of the things, Jamie, sometimes when you're having a conversation, you're very limited in terms of time and what you can do in that time period. So what are the most critical parts you need to do to get everybody all on the same page so that you can get to where you need to be?
Definitely good question on here. Thank you, Indy, for making sure, like, when you're crunched on time, minimal amount to do. I will actually go back to that desired outcome. And it might be as simple as, can everyone just be clear why we're here today? And I'll ask to unmute or put in chat just to make sure we're all on that same page and say, all right, and we're given 15 minutes. What do we need to get that done? You know, is there anything we need, or do we know that answer? But I always go back to that desired outcome. We're here today and we only have this much time with this many people, because we know about trying to herd cats and get everyone on the same page. You know, that can be a great one.
Okay, thank you.
Go back to desired outcome. No, good question. Thank you.
Fantastic. And we've probably got time for one more question or reflection. If anyone has a final thought there.
I have an appreciation. Throwing in the reducing the agenda by 20% to allow for the additional conversation, because I am a very agenda specific person, and that's a big takeaway for me. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Awesome, Katie. And if you do like the collaboration spaces in those areas, I'm a big fan of lean coffee is what it's called. It's an agile technique, and I'll put it in chat here for anyone. And that's literally the name, like not a Jamieism, but lean coffee is to where I let the team participants pick the agenda, that here are the items that we have to get through. We know, to your point, Indy, we only have a certain amount of time. Which topics do we want to talk through first? You know, and I let them pick it, and that's what we run. So, but again, it does require a little bit of letting go on some things, and you might not get to everything and being okay with that. But it's a different approach, but it can help if you've got a, you know, like you say, a different way to get people engaged. I love that one, using the spaces.
Fantastic. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. This was something I'd not really come across until you mentioned it, Jamie, in your article in BA Digest, and I love it too. And an analogy that anyone who's ever written anything in their life will know is that writing is hard, editing is harder, right? Less is more. Taking stuff out is hard. It's hard to do, but it's so important. You know, reading something concise is better. The same is true with agendas. So we are just about at time, but Jamie, I am sure everyone here will want to connect with you on LinkedIn. I've put your link in the chat as well, so do connect with Jamie. You can connect with me as well. But how else can people find out more about what you do? I know you're a very, very well-known, your LinkedIn courses. How can people find out more about how to work with you, to learn from you, to connect with you?
Easiest thing is either in LinkedIn here, connect with me, or I have my email address and we'll put it here in chat. I'm a big fan of just simply reach out. I'm an email, phone call, text message, WhatsApp, whatever medium that is easy for you. That's the easiest part to reach me. And so, yep, I'm on LinkedIn Live once a month to ask questions live if you want to, or just put it in chat. I'll answer it live. And as again, LinkedIn's the easiest way, but I'm an email away anytime for a good question, thought, discussion.
Fantastic. Well, I'm sure I speak for everyone when I say, Jamie, this has been a fantastic session, really, really engaging. I've learned a lot. I'm sure we've all learned a lot. We've seen different perspectives. So thank you, Jamie, for taking time out, because what time is it where you are in Hawaii?
It's 8:30 in the morning. I get to start the rest of the day. See, look at that. You energize me.
Well, I hope so. But thank you for getting up early to be with us. I'm sure we all like a virtual round of applause for Jamie. And I always think that a great way of also showing that appreciation is connecting on LinkedIn. Thank you also to everyone who has attended live, or indeed if you're watching the recording. I put a link to our next webinar. The next webinar is more of a traditional webinar rather than sort of meeting interactive style, but it's a BA roundtable with 3 speakers who are speaking at the BA Conference Europe, who are speaking on some really interesting topics, cybersecurity, operating models, and character crafting. And I thought, what would be great, rather than having a panel of people who are talking about the same topic, let's get 3 different topics and see how they connect. And I'm really excited because I've met with the speakers and they are going to connect. And if you've not come across character crafting before, which I hadn't, it's really interesting. So that's there. It's free. If you can't attend live, you can always register and get access to the recording. That's always completely fine as well. So there's nothing further from me. Thank you all for attending. Jamie, massive thank you as always. See you all. Have a good rest of the day. See you very soon.
Thanks.
Aloha, everyone.